Hello and welcome back to Fallen London. Yesterday we had made quite a bit of headway into an investigation regarding spies and tattoos. This morning I realized I hadn't actually shown off the lodgings card yet. So you can always, from the London map, go to various different areas of London, but then also down here is your lodgings, which is your home, where you live, of course. Your activities, this is where you start a lot of those social actions, or you can go here to... Actually, I'll just show you. Let's see, activities shows... Oh, there's less here than I expected. Ha! More things will unlock as we go in here. This is where you can work on writing books if you are trying to pursue a career as an author, and consider crimes. Quite a bit different. This used to all be in lodgings. They split it out into categories a while back. It makes it a little cleaner. And then the social engagements is the one I was thinking of before, is where you start writing letters to other characters, starting those activities. And also there are ways to deal with most of the menaces if you start building them up too much, where you can spend actions to reduce them, as well as each one of these categories has other social options. Quite a bit to be done here. Not a whole lot in the early game that you're going to want to. You're mostly going to want to be progressing the story, but this is where it all is. And then in the lodgings themselves, we have access to the exceptional library. If you're doing the exceptional friend thing, if you have any stories that you've unlocked but haven't completed, they filed all the cards for that away here. Like this one has changed. It was a different story before because it was last month's story, and now I should be able to access that in here if I ever want to. Yep, right there. So, cute little system to keep it all squirreled away. Oh, the exceptional stories, we'll do one of those soon enough. I want to build up our stats a little bit more first. But they are if you're an exceptional friend subscriber, they release a not custom, but a new story every month that has often unique and interesting rewards. It's not necessarily you'll get anything more powerful there than you will in other places. It's mostly just interesting stories is the point of it all. Okay. Let's see. Do I actually have anything in this card? No, not yet. Okay. Oh, that just links us to this one. That makes sense. Whoops. Couple of things that we got here. This card, basically if you're not sure where to go next, or if you're not sure where there's something you haven't done yet, this will have options that point you in the right direction. And also it seems we received a gift. When you were indisposed in New Newgate, a mysterious benefactor promised you a gift. And now a package has been delivered. Somehow they knew what you'd find most useful. What is it? And so we can choose between 4 different options for the 4 different skills. And I'll say, in this case, let's go with shadowy. A bowler hat. Bowler hats are very common. One could blend inconspicuously into a crowd when wearing this. Wherever did you get? The hat is old and worn, but sturdy. One moment. Alright, sorry about that. But sturdy. The fit isn't quite right, so it dips rakishly over your left eye. Just the thing for a larcenous night out. And we now have one unobtrusive bowler hat. Which is definitely an upgrade right away. With the parcel, there was a note with your gift. Open it up. What does your benefactor have to say? A note in an elegant hand. It is good that your former troubles are resolved. The gift I sent you is not intended to create obligation. It is to assist in the performance of evil acts to good purpose. Opportunities to disreputably gather virtue will be accorded before the wheel turns long. We will meet very soon. The note is not signed. All right then. Okay, now with our upgraded lodgings, we have the 3 space in our hand for the opportunity card. So let's see what we have presented to us today. A dream of roses. Sleep seeps in, thick as syrup. Behind your drooping eyelids, you can see a hazy imprint, red and gold. Perhaps you've been overdoing it lately. Perhaps you could use an early night. Perhaps you've been idle and the hour is late. But still, don't you deserve to treat yourself anyway? Dreams beckon. Okay, dreaming will take you away from London for a little while. So this opportunity card is taking us to a magical dream of some kind, and it will take a bunch of actions, which is why it's warning this. That way, if you don't want to do it yet, you don't have to. Lay down your weary head, succumb to sleep. Et in arbor ego. A dream washes over you, like a tide coming into shore. You are standing in a grove tangled with roses, red and gold. The gentle, rotten scent of flowers fills the air with drowsy sweetness. Before you, city walls rise, the color of sunset. Bronze gates gleam in a somnolent amber light. A woman wearing vast rubies in her ears approaches. London's ambassador requests that we permit you within Arbor's walls, she says with a lazy smile. Enjoy your stay. Do feast your eyes on our city of marvels. She turns away, leaving you to make your own way into the city of roses. An introduction to Arbor. The woman introduces herself as the Herald of the Three Promises. She assures you that she is very senior in Arbor's court. You will have questions, I know, she says with a smile curved as a crescent moon. About the 3 arbors, about Attar, about our laws. She looks at you, indulgently, expectantly. Let's ask about Attar. Who or what is it? Oh, by the way, if you've noticed, some of the buttons to advance have a 0 next to them. That just means that that is a free choice. It often is about information gathering and conversation that you'll see that, where it's not meant to be taking part of your day's energy. The stuff of dream. The herald laughs merrily. She brushes her finger across her eyelids. A fine red powder crumbles free, staining her cheeks as it falls. This is Attar, she said. It grows from dream. When you see wonders in our cities, you will accrue it. The more you have, the more you'll see. When you have enough, but I don't want to spoil the surprise. Suffice to say that Attar is prized above all else in Arbor. All right. Ask about the first arbor. There are 3 arbors, she said. The near side. The herald waves a hand dismissively. Near arbor, you'll enter there. It's quaint in its way. Laborers and merchants mostly reside there, those insufficiently attuned to wonder. She inclines her head, and those who upset her roseate majesty, I suppose. You'll see it first, but please, do not believe that it's all that we are. Ask about the second arbor. The far side of dream. Her eyes gleam. Redness stains the inside of her lids. I shouldn't say much. You must glut yourself on our wonders to enter Far Arbor. She takes your hand, her pulse dances in her wrist. I envy that you'll get to see it for the first time. I would give anything to do that again. Ask about the third arbor. All that remains. She frowns, an expression of distaste on her face. That was an error. We do not speak of the third arbor. It is lost. It never was. Oh, it's a little bit harsh. Ask about the laws of Arbor. What do you need to know? The prohibitions of sequestration. The herald smiles. We do not have so many since Her Roseate Majesty's reforms. The only thing you need to remember are that labor is prized and will be rewarded with attar. The artists must be kept in their cages. The serpents must sleep, and only in the appointed places. They are not to be woken. Oh, and do not speak to other foreigners here. There are diplomatic sensitivities. Okay. That's all the questions, so let's go ahead and enter Arbor. You've heard enough from the herald. Mired in dream. This way, I'll take you to the gatehouse. Do enjoy yourself. She leads you through the bright fields to an ancient gatehouse, built into a crumbling red stone wall. You pass beneath the copper portcullis and into Arbor, City of Roses. Near Arbor, a tall gatehouse stands before the crumbled wall. Arbor does not defend this eastern border since the sequestration. Hussite guards watch visitors carefully, however, and deport those who overstay their welcome. A thriving market has been set up in the gatehouse's shadow. Here, near Arbori trade for bejeweled dice, golden-backed cards, and other amusements. Attar has found its way into your lashes. You have permission to stay in Arbor for some time yet. Explore the gatehouse market. A discerning eye could find much of worth here. Unscrupulous merchants peddle trinkets and distractions for ludicrous prices. Near Arbori, desperate for novelty, will usually pay. Give it a shot. Among wolves. The wares resting on the red and gold silks of the stalls are a haphazard jumble of amusements, trinkets, and discarded trifles. Nevertheless, near Arbori prowl through the market, their gazes rapacious as foxes. They hunt for novelty. You find a pair of dice, encrusted with battered sapphires. Before you can pick them up, a near Arbori dives in and snatches them away. The dice linger in your mind's eye, the lapis blue of an Anatolian sea. So we failed the check, spent some of our time that we're allowed to be here, and it says the last of your attar spills from your eyes in a thin, desolate trickle. I think that's just because we've just barely started. Let's try something that might work a little better. Let's go to the north. Walk north, where old palaces and forgotten slums huddle, comforting each other from the onrush of time. The spires of the Queen's Temple command the horizon. This one right down here interests me. However, I think it's related to another storyline, and I don't want to touch it right now. We'll get more into that later. Northward, you travel north where the red rose walls glower under the heat of the orange sun. You pass courtyards where broken fountains gurgle and wells whisper. Somewhere nearby, chimes sound the changing of the hour. A few near Arbori clad in drab tabards passed by, their days still dictated by the necessities of work. Near Arbor, London's embassy is in this northerly district, incongruously styled like a two-door coaching inn. Drab near Arbori move about their daily business, while London diplomats and spies haunt the crowds. Richly decorated Far Arbori wander the streets, identifiable by their gaudy cloaks, attar ringed eyes and vacant expressions. The last of your attar spills from your eyes in a thin, desolate trickle. Oh, that's just updating on the time and attar level. No problem. Okay. Spy on London's embassy. What goes on here away from London's watchful eye? You may gain extraordinary implications. Well, let's see what it has to say. I'm pretty sure we'll fail again, but we might get lucky. Listless afternoon. The embassy is shut up tight. No one enters and no one leaves. It is only at midday when the chimes sound that there is activity. An elderly diplomat leaving to hunt for lunch. He locates a near Arbori merchant selling toasted nuts in the square. He is the only customer. The chestnut seller is almost overcome with the novelty of the situation. He rubs his eyes frantically, but evidently finds nothing. There is no red in his lashes. The diplomat doesn't notice this, but does seem to have an excellent lunch all the same. Let's go further north, where old palaces and forgotten slums huddle, comforting each other from the onrush of time. The spires of the Queen's Temple command the horizon. You travel north, where the red rose walls glower under the heat of the orange sun. You pass courtyards where broken fountains gurgle and wells whisper. Somewhere nearby, chimes sound the changing of the hour. A few near Arbori, clad in drab tabards, pass by, their days still dictated by the necessities of work. I guess that's probably the same each time. Near Arbor, the temple to the unending queen, her roseate splendor, stands at the farthest north of Arbor. Its friezes commemorate the city's 3 greatest victories. New rubies have been fixed in the eyes of its statues. Every statue is identical. The roseate queen's gaze is radiant and ever watchful. Laborers sleep in cages which hang from the shining, unfinished temple walls. Labor in the temple. The priests will determine your task in the temple, whether you drudge in menial labor or are fit for dreaming work in the cages. That sounds unpleasant. Let's give it a shot. Oh, actually, let's not. This one ends the visit. If you are successful, so I don't want to actually do that. Let's go back south. Southward, you head south where the buildings stand taller. Far Arbori and cloaks woven with ivy and roses congregate in courtyards and loll in lush gardens, while drab near Arbori walk around and over them, intent on their own labors. Massive-headed roses hang from drooping trellises and brush your face as you pass beneath. Further south. Oh, I guess we ran out of time. A tall gatehouse stands before the crumbled wall. No, we read this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and check on this one to see if we have the stuff it needs. I doubt we do. Light your candles. 77. The number of kingdoms in the presbyterate. Perhaps it means something here. Old remembrance. You sit in the red rose streets and lay out your candles in sevens. A 7-pointed star that grows in concentric sevens around you. The lighting is arduous. Your concentration slips. At last, all are lit. Nothing happens. Hussite guards frown at you from nearby. One comes to snuff out your fires. Perhaps you are not deep enough in the dream here? Okay, well, we'll try that if we ever get to Far Arbor. Leave Arbor. Members of the Hussite Guard appear in the nearby alleys. Your time in Arbor, their unsympathetic gazes say, is up. Gone away. The guard who escorts you to the gatehouse is courtesy itself. He inquires after your stay, what you've seen and done, all in a manner that suggests he's merely interested in your enjoyment of your stay. There is a mirror in the gatehouse cellars. The cellars once housed wine when Arbor still had access to its vineyards, that leads home. You wake in the familiar comfort of your bed. Your eyes take some time to adjust to the dark, and your head is full of the fading memory of roses, red as a new wound. Well, that was certainly a fascinating dream. We'll have more opportunities to visit that place, and hopefully by then our skills will be a bit more up to snuff. Pass the Cat, a wriggling delivery. The game of Pass the Cat has grown fashionable lately, despite the Duchess' displeasure. Someone has selected you as the next link in the unwrapping chain. We have the option to accept the delivery, or an elaborate strategy. Problems with Scandal? Perhaps you can use this as a diversion, but it might rebound on you. So if our Scandal menace is racking up too high, then we can use this to try to reduce it, but if we don't have the skill, it can go badly. Let's not do that. We don't even have any Scandal to lose. Accept the delivery. Sign for it? Why do you want me to sign for it? Muffled sounds. Is it trying to eat its way out of the box? That's a little worrying. You now have a boxed cat? Let's check that out. Pass the Cat, a peculiar tradition. A gently rustling box sits on your dining room table. At least 2 layers remain. Are you ready to play Pass the Cat? Pass it on. Unwrap a single layer and post the box on to someone else, or a wicked game and you'll have no part of it. Free the creature. Let's go ahead and pass it on. Apparently, I don't know anyone I can do that for. Well, in that case, let's free the creature. Slice and a tear. You whip out a pair of scissors and plow hastily through the multiple parcel layers. The creature inside bursts free. Your eyes are full of brown paper and string, and you don't see what it is, but it gives you a nasty scratch on its way to the window. Farewell, boxed creature! We gained some magnanimous. The Duchess liked that, but we took a hit. Trouble at home. Your neighbor is a troublesome fellow. Noisy parties at night and the frequent attention of the constables. It's time for him to go. The pen and the poison. Your neighbor is mixed up with crime and politics. He must have sins aplenty in his past. Perhaps an anonymous warning letter is in order. Or the law of the mob. You can't be the only one who wants to see him go. Assembling a mob to run him out of the area is hardly civilized, but it could work. Let's go for the gentler option. All is known. You don't know the details of your neighbor's crimes, but you craft a warning letter to freeze the bowels of any professional scoundrel. You write of secrets discovered, pacts unraveling, and a host of former victims hungry for bloody-fisted revenge. Your neighbor bolts for the brass embassy immediately, leaving peace in his wake and a little something behind. What's in the bundle? Something keening. We got more primordial shrieks. Okay. In all that time, let's go ahead and now deal with our full deck again. A Night for Knives and Candles. We've seen this one before. You know, last time we got our ass kicked, but let's try this again. Stand on a nearby rain barrel and loudly declaim that any players of Knife and Candle nearby are gutless weasels with all the poise and breeding of a sorrow spider. Knives and Wax. Players of Knife and Candle come at you from all directions. Knives flash in the dim light, and wax goes everywhere. Used to ambushes, the players attempt to escape your wrath. A few make it away, although others lie bleeding on the cobblestones as you take their candles. Excellent. Can't do anything with this one. Dragsman's work. A hansom cab driver a hansom cab driver sits yawning on his seat, turning his head now and then to watch well-dressed couples sauntering by. Sneak up and cut the straps on the baggage. The baggage on the back of the cab is bulging temptingly over the street. You could grab whatever's there and be away in moments. Or sneak up and push the cab driver off the seat. Steal the cab. That horse doesn't look very biddable, though. Let's go for it. A daring escape. The driver topples into the street with a forlorn squawk. You grab his whip from its hook and lash the horse into motion. The cab careens off down the road. At a safe distance, you exchange the cab and horse for a sack of glim, a meat pie, and the promise of a kind word in the ear of the Topsy King, the beggar's master. Excellent. The mob. A gang of netty men, the master's enforcers, is looking for volunteers. They need sturdy types to bring a honey-addled murderess to justice, or at least hang her from the nearest gas lamp. This time let's refuse. She may be a murderess, but if so, let it be proven in fair trial. Are we barbarians? Are we foreigners? You recognize many of the faces in the mob. You scold and plead and tease until those faces begin to blush. You invoke the laws of lost Britain and the universal decencies to which all are entitled. Those at the edge of the mob drop their bricks covertly on the ground and slink away one by one. The netty men slope off, snarling. The mood of growing serenity is broken only by a distant shriek from the alleys as the murderess punctures another victim. All right. Good for the constitution. Your maiden aunt was always fond of you and occasionally generous. Perhaps she would like the air down here. Dearest aunt, a letter is in order, describing the endless virtues of the Neath. Let's go ahead and spend a second chance on this one. We failed once, but let's try again. Bats the size of eagles? And the rumors of body-swapping murderers are nothing but untruth and calumny. The mushroom wines are delightful, and the fields somberly pretty. You continue for several pages and pay the considerable postage to have the letter delivered to the surface. In a few weeks you have your reply. Your aunt has decided against an actual visit, but wishes you to send her further letters describing the wonders of the Neath. Perhaps she will change her mind later. Ah well. A runaway horse. The horses of fallen London are vicious, shaggy brutes, and this one has taken fright from a sorrow spider and bolted with its hansom cab. Someone will get hurt. We can attempt to tear loose a case from the hansom. You'll have to be quick and strong, but you might grab a little luggage before the horse bolts out of reach. Or a simple matter of agility and thews. Bringing the horse back to its senses will only require a nimble leap onto the careening hansom and wrestling with the beast's reins until it stops. How hard can that be? Let's give it a shot. Bizarrely enough, it goes to plan. Just like in the Penny Dreadfuls, you leap onto the back of the hansom as the horse heads towards a busy bridge. The crowd scatters, and you haul mightily on the reins as the hansom heads towards a meeting with the uncaring driver. You pull up in time. You're rather disappointed that attractive young admirers don't flock to you immediately, but at least you take comfort in helping yourself to the contents of the luggage rack. What did we get? Something sweet, a golden jar. Honey, taste it and be somewhere else for a little while. Ah, yeah, the drugs. The keen-eyed lapidary. A keen-eyed lapidary has been robbed. Some villain has emptied her shop of moon pearls. Your reputation precedes you. Her horologist clients are furious. Moon pearls are vital to their work. Could you use your investigative talents to find the culprit? Or at least retrieve her stock? Well, we'll give it a shot. Long gone. The thieves are long gone, taking the moon pearls with them. The distressed lapidary bites her lip. You were her last hope. What will happen to her? Ah. Debate with a philosopher at the Square of Lofty Words. The thinkers here perch atop long poles high above the surrounding buildings, so that the rarefied air might nourish their wispy notions. You have heard interesting things about this place from your philosopher friends. Repudiate an especially offensive hypothesis. You have been described as open-minded, innovative, an exemplar of forbearance. But this idiot on his stupid pole is talking rubbish, and someone needs to step in. A victory as satisfying as any honor duel. You counter his points, cast clever doubt upon his sources, and ultimately expose his theorem as the self-indulgent adolescent mooning that it is. When the ragged old imbecile starts flinging his food at you, you take it as a sign of absolute victory and depart. A philosopher on a neighboring pole tosses a trinket down to you, cackling. It seems he and your victim have never made peace since an acrimonious dispute over which of them had the nicest pole. More of those. Rooftop urchins don't have anything we want to do here. A message arrives. An associate wants to see you. A message from the last constable. Haunted, fierce, desperate, we know, yes. Meet her at Ladybones Road. We'll get the actual story when we get there. A visit. One of your acquaintances is receiving visitors. Who will you call on? Well, we don't know anyone, so we're going to have to ponder on solitude instead of having company. Wow. The formation of friendships. To truly enjoy peace and quiet, one must have friends and neighbors to ignore. You must seek society to find those you can relish avoiding. Wow, I like that. You can make acquaintances with well-known Londoners through cards that will appear in your opportunity deck. Well, we haven't yet. Okay, so that is it. We have spent half our day dealing with stuff in our house and dealing with opportunity cards. It's time to get back to work and finish our investigation. Yeah, let's finish it before we check in with the last constable. Where is it? Ah, I should have filled this bar before I recorded. Oh well. Making your name, find a tattooed courier's contact, the last link. The tattooed messenger has been talking to a gin-soaked actress. The gin-soaked actress has been passing messages via a spider-footed urchin. Where is this agile urchin girl going? Observe the urchin. She hasn't actually got spider feet, as far as you know. She's tremendously fast, though. You'll never keep up with her on the rooftops, but after a few trips you should be able to work out her route. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Up and away! The spider-footed urchin climbs higher and higher. Eventually she leaves the rooftops and spires of the city and ascends to the Flit, the aerial slum of rope bridges and rickety gantries that hangs over the city proper. Only villains, beggars, and revolutionaries go there. You'll have to find another way. Fine. In case you're wondering why I don't pump that bar up more for a higher chance, each level takes an increasing amount of actions to fill, so in the end it generally works out that taking the 70% chance is the better, more efficient option. Although, so far we have had terrible luck with it, so let's give it another shot. East, east. Every time you lose the spider-footed urchin on the rooftops, you mark the spot where you lost her. When she passes again, you pick up her trail. It takes days, but eventually you trace the urchin's path. She heads eastward, across the well-trodden the well-trodden rooftops of Spite, and further east still, to the colored lights of Miss Plenty's most distracting carnival. Finally, the urchin heads for the tent of Madame Shoshana, the fortune-teller. What is going on in there? Okay, so we've got to head to the carnival to continue. What does this card say now? Okay, yeah. Alright, off to the carnival we go! Making your name, find a tattooed courier's contact at the conclusion. The tattooed courier wasn't passing information from revolutionaries to a foreign power. She was bringing information from the surface to Madame Shoshana, the carnival's fortune teller. Our options are to accept hush money from Shoshana. Madame Shoshana likes to appear prescient. Whether she has mystical powers or not, she gets some of her information from the surface. Before the newspapers have it. She would like this arrangement to stay out of the public eye. Hand over your report to the constables. They paid you to follow this trail, and you're going to report. Shoshana probably won't be able to cause trouble for you, although she is rumored to have powerful clients. Pass on that one, or forget the whole business. All this time chasing after a fortune teller, a mere carnival blatherer? This is not a worthy task for one of your talents. Yeah, you know, that's kinda true, but on the other hand, money. Great and terrible. You are wise, child. Accept these troubles and trouble yourself no longer with this courier. For we all have better things to do we not? Now leave me. I see a great and terrible future in your stars. Either you have her entire stock of silk scarves, or she owns half the silk weavers of spite. Of course, the constables won't be pleased that the courier's trail led nowhere, but this is probably for the best. A few of the carnies toast your health as you leave Shoshana's tent. Excellent, and the Bohemians owe us a favor for that, even though we blackmailed her. Detective to detective. The honey-addled detective holds a glass of moral ways to the light and considers its color. Sir, Matt, I must again congratulate you on your handling of that last case. But I need to know, what's your method? What teachings do you follow? Options are the implacable method. The implacable's practice is systematic and elegant. It considers all possibilities, eliminates all errors, and isolates the truth. Or the unconfined. The unconfined teaches that truth is worth any sacrifice. Assumption, deceit, and delusion must be aggressively dismantled and the truth freed. Or the doctrine of the anchoress. Her teachings are intuitive, devotional, revelatory. She is your guiding star. Or your own genius. You have little sympathy with established philosophies. You have invented a method of your own. I kind of like the unconfined. Let's go with that. Recollections of Pandora. The honey-addled detective steeples his fingers and narrows his eyes. Be wise in your search for truth, my friend. I've fought my way to it before, but there are some truths I would fight to keep confined. He takes a slow drink from his glass, and doesn't speak again until it's drained. But you do have a talent. I've a few cases which I'd like to pass along to you. I believe you'll relish them. Alright, we are now associated with the unconfined investigative method. Our name is imprinted in the illustration. And cleared our nightmares, we gained ruthless but dropped some subtle for our aggressive investigative technique, and gained a crap ton of a watchful. Excellent. Okay, so while we're here, I say let's finish out our day. You know, we've worked hard. We figured out this silly fortune teller thing, and I want to check this carnival out actually. But first, let's go ahead and hit this. We've seen this one before, accept the wager. I think last time we ended up eating the bat, and it wasn't pleasant. But hopefully it'll go better this time, because our luck sure needs to turn around. Heads! Excellent. He leans close to whisper the secret words. You almost gag at his breath, thick with the sense of honey and rot. And you suspect, bat's blood, but you memorize each one. It'll help your eloquence significantly. Excellent. Okay, buy tickets to the Carnival. The Carnival stall accepts tickets. They must be purchased or exchanged for secrets, or stolen, but that would be dishonest. How is our shadowy gear looking? Nah, let's just buy some. We have plenty of moon pearls, that's fine. Rattle, clatter, hiss, thump. You deposit your pearls in the machine. Moments later, it dispenses a roll of tickets. Ah, technology, how savage and fast the pace of change. Now that we have tickets, we have a whole lot of things to explore. We probably won't be able to finish this today. Let's check out the most educational anatomy exhibition. The noted pedagogue Miss Plenty presents an informative and educational exhibition of anatomy and dances of antiquity for discerning gentlefolk. You will be improved. The male specimen. Wonder at the gentleman's muscular development. Marvel at the dermis and ligaments. Be improved by displays of movement and flexation. Most educational, and consider the specimen's superior gluteal muscle development and tone. Now observe the definition of the quadriceps, and there how they are balanced by the deltoids. Did the specimen just wink at you? Yes, he did. At the end of the display, you sidle over and learn some facts of a different nature. Excellent. Well, now, for the sake of equality, we need to check out the female specimen. Wonder at the ladies... Oh, I forgot. I thought it was going to give me another card. Whoops. I'll read it when I get back. You have learned something very new. Now study most carefully as Miss Forward performs a dance of antiquity from the third city. Be hypnotized by the rhythmic movement of her hips. Marvel at that thing she is doing now with that silk veil. The lady catches your eye, and her lips curl in a slow smile. You saunter over, ever so casually, and find out more than you thought you would. So this one has, wonder at the lady's Vitruvian perfection. Study carefully as she demonstrates rhythmic motions and serpentine litheness in ancient dances. And the bandage specimen. What is beneath the bandages? We shall endeavor to discover. The specimen is discovered for the edification of all. They're literally just wounded humans, generally. Mercy rewarded. That, of course, is no tomb colonist. That's Mr. Adoniform, the male exhibit wrapped in torn sheeting. A pair of cheeky urchins are trying to peel away his grubby bandages. He tries to bat away their little hands, but they are too quick. Discovery is imminent. You take pity on the poor soul and grab the urchins by their ears. Later, he shares some information by way of a thank you. And the rubbery specimen. What spongy horrors await beneath the flimsy concealment of civilized clothing? Examine the boneless writhing in pursuit of intellectual betterment. An act of kindness. The boneless writhing has attracted rather some unpleasant comments. You feel sorry for the rubbery man, whose eyes are rolling helplessly. Luckily, the woman with the loudest voice has a rather large nose, and you point and laugh until the crowd's attention is turned on her. They are a fickle lot. Much later, you find some amber in your pocket. Alright, seriously, everyone's got to stop being so mean to the rubbery men. Well, that is it for the anatomy tent. Let's check out the refreshment pavilion. The pavilion is less civilized than it sounds. Some of its wares are surprisingly tasty, if you're brave enough to try them. Warning, some foods may damage your abilities. That's a good warning, but we've got to see what happens. Try some hot wine. Hot spiced wine to warm the body and soothe the spirit. It might calm your nerves, but public drinking is frowned upon. A pleasing glow. The wine is cheap and rough, but when heated and spiced, becomes something altogether better. It keeps the chill out, and you'll sleep well tonight. Okay, I think that would have reduced our nightmares if we had any. Let's see what the Spore Toffee does. The favored snack of the criminal classes is known to be good for you after a knife fight or a fall from a rooftop. Not the sort of thing honest folk would be seen eating, though. An innocent with a sweet tooth? Spore Toffee, eh? Watch your pockets, lads. This one's a villain. All we gained is some suspicion, but we lost some wounds. Let's try some rubbery lumps. Lumps! Get your rubbery lumps! Pride of the Neath! Alarming beasts dredged up from the Untersee, hit on the head, chopped up and fried in batter. 2 hours from trawler to newspaper wrapping. Loverly. No rubbery man content whatever. Guaranteed by Mr. Hartz, so it is. What? What is this? You've eaten the steaming packet of lumps, and now you are ravenous. Far hungrier than when you started. What do these charlatans make this stuff out of? Oh, that's right, sea monsters. What lives down in those lightless, oily waters that could make you feel this way? We were lucky. That cost 2 tickets, and all it gained us was unaccountably peckish. Why are you so damnably hungry? That's weird. Maybe we don't eat the lumps in the future. Let's check out the Big Top. A riot of color, a sea of sound. A place where polite society's rules relax and a costermonger may rub shoulders with a bishop. You may gain a few favors here. Okay. We can try to meet our bohemian friends. Artists and poets of your acquaintance are discussing the wolves' rather lackluster performance. Okay, so this earns a bohemian favor and increases our renown with the bohemians, but isn't available once our renown reaches 5. It also costs 2 actions. So renown is a quality that is a more permanent form of reputation than favors. So we can get our renown up to 5 with a bunch of factions here. And after that, basically the best way to get renown is to stack up a full 7 favors, because 7 is the cap, and then you can turn those into some renown using special items. But I will probably, off the record, come here and fill up on all the basics with as many factions as I can to at least get us started. Let's not do that now, though. Let's check out the sideshows, the ragged little tents around the edges of the carnival. Ah, more of the same, but with different factions, and it looks like with easier checks. Likely because these are the ones that are just easier to get favors with in the first place. So, again, not interested in spending the actions on that on the recording. So let's instead look at Beneath the Neath. Descend precipitously to abyssal depths. Oh, I'm sorry, before we get there, I didn't mean to skip one. The games tent. The air thrums with the furtive energy of money-changing hands. Games of skill, games of chance, the occasional thrown lizard snatching a bat from the air. What could be better? Cards, the low tables. Buying the seat costs a ticket, but you'll need a stake too. Bluff and banter swirl about, and the jade chips never stop moving. You'll be right at home here. Sure, let's give it a shot. We failed. Down on the night, is the table crooked? Probably not. There might be some shills working it though, and the lady who keeps beating you could be a professional. Still, it was a pleasant enough way of passing a few hours, even if you did come out down on the night. Looks like it's just a way to risk play games, exactly what we'd expect. Not worth spending recorded time on. Let's look at Beneath the Neath. This one will take more tickets than we have. Let's go grab some. Okay. Descend precipitously to abyssal depths. Explore the unknown chasm. The Carnival's big wheel lowers brave customers into the earth. It almost always brings them back, too. Go for a ride. Beneath the Neath will take you far from the gaudy lights of the Carnival, deep under the surface of the Neath. What horrors lie there? Let's take a look. The gondolas, which started life in a mine, are loaded and noisily lowered into the black depths. The first parts of the ride are decorated as underworlds. First, a classical Hades filled with young gentlemen and ladies in rather filmy veils, a dispirited-looking Charon without a river, and a Tantalus who looks a little too well-fed. There follows a genuinely unsettling hell decorated with smoky red grease lamps and brass cages. The whole thing seems to you in very odd taste, considering the proximity of the real thing. And are those real devils? They seem to be having a hard time keeping a straight face. Then the ride descends deeper. The clammy throat of the earth closes round you. Deep, deep, deep. Even for one used to the Neath's dimness, the darkness is palpable and oppressive. You are suddenly very aware of the stone above you. What do they say, that London's a mile under the earth? You've long been used to that, but you feel it again now. Deeper still. Phosphorescent slugs the size of ponies pulse in the darkness. The leaves of aeons dead ferns preserved in coal glint in their light. Almost too low to hear, a deep, slow rhythm throbs. The heartbeat of some immense creature, or a feature of the air moving in the chasm? You are not entirely sorry when the gondola starts moving upward. For the briefest moment when you rumble into the open air of the Carnival, brilliant with glaring white carbide lamps and the flare of gaslights, you expect to see sunlight. That was indeed fascinating and definitely worth the trip. I kind of wonder what the bad luck one looks like. Let's visit Madame Shoshana, the Neath's foremost clairvoyant. Madame Shoshana's shabby, perfumed little tent is tucked away behind the House of Mirrors. Cross her palm with silver, tickets, and choose your method of divination. Interesting. Have your tea leaves read. The advantage of this choice is you get a nice cup of tea into the bargain. Drink up and let's see what the future holds. Sure, why not? Auspicious tasseomancy. Madame Shoshana takes your cup, puts the saucer on top, swirls it ceremonially, and appears. Her expression changes as she examines the dregs of your tea. I see a raven perched upon a weather vane. You will hear something to your advantage. You will be offered scones. You are unlikely to encounter Mr. Iron tonight. Okay, well, good. That wasn't as exciting as I might have hoped, but so it is. Well, that has been a lovely day. We finished off our investigations and got to check out the Carnival. Tomorrow we will probably maybe see a couple of the other things that Madame Shoshana might have to say, and check out the House of Mirrors, and then we'll probably move on to Spite. Well, so before we head out, let's go ahead and check a couple of little lore bits here. The language of Xanadu. The wise Londoner avoids graffiti. If you read it too closely, your hair might catch fire. As you improve your watchful, you may learn to read these burning sigils. Yes, we will. It's very exciting. Where is the bazaar? The bazaar is located at the heart of fallen London, in the Neath, a cavern of impossible size, by the Untersee, a tremendous saltwater lake. They say it's the skull of some defunct pagan god. That doesn't sound very likely, although it would explain the dreams. Why is Hesperidian cider so sought after? Death is not always permanent in fallen London. Old age and disease still take their toll, but a small stabbing or shooting can often be mended with an apology and some deft needlework. Of course, this amnesty from death does not extend to the surface. Once you've been shot, you're down here forever. Unless you have a rare flask of Hesperidian cider, perhaps. That is kind of interesting, and by the way, check this out. I believe it's at... Is it American? No, someone has that, actually. It's an item in the store. Yeah, the pawn shop has... We can buy that cider right now if we can put together 160,000 echoes. Right now, we've got 1 echo and 81 pence. It's a good start, right? Alright, well, that is all for today. Thank you very much for joining us here in Fallen London, and we will see you next time.